build your personal brand. So first, you need to build a strong personal brand about what you stand for. What are your values? What's your purpose? How do you help others? And you do that on social media by posting yourself on LinkedIn, describing how you help others. But it's also every time you go to a networking event, every time you meet someone, the way you introduce yourself is not so much what you do, but how you help others. And that's the best way to elevate your personal brand. And a good way to do that is to make introductions for other people by being an introducer, as a connector, that automatically elevates your personal brand. And once you start working on your personal brand, then the sky's the limit. Then you can go out there and meet people for business, meet people for coffee, make introductions, get introductions, go to networking events. You can do all that stuff. But really, you have to start with the personal brand first, because every time you meet someone, they're going to check your LinkedIn to see who you are. So if your LinkedIn doesn't reflect those values and how you help others, they're not going to continue that conversation. So really, it starts from a place of authenticity, of personal brand, of trying to be a helper, helping others, being a thought leader in your field, being an expert, sharing value and sharing advice. And then from there on, everything builds from there.
Any members in the audience with us, drop in the chat. Where are you joining us from? I love seeing how far our kitchen stretches each week. It's become such a lovely, warm little community. And you know what? Because we're meeting during our lunch break, who's here sneaking in between meetings, who's here, with their little light bites or, their big lunches as well. What I would say is get comfortable, grab your tea. I saw Mike, I saw you with a cuppa somewhere there.
Cuppa right? Here, absolutely,
yeah. Is it a tea? Is it a coffee?
It's actually a coffee. It's cortado, oat cortado, very basic hipster drink, right? Typical hipster.
Oh wow!
London.
That's how we do it.
That's how we
Turmeric teas. Fantastic. So let's settle in. Now we have our coffees, we have our teas. It's time for us to get going, because every week we hold these lunch and learn sessions to pause in the middle of our week and talk about real stories, real systems, and real growth. Not theories, things you can actually act on today. And you know what? I was away last weekend on my annual girls trip, something I look forward to all year round, and then regret when I just start. Because we're girls, we are on a trip, and we're going to make sure we maximize it. We're all mummies as well, so we're away from the family. A dangerous combination. So no work, no schedules, just laughter, late night talks, and if you know African women, no more said. And then far too much food. But every time I come back, I'm reminded of one thing. Connection is oxygen. It's what keeps us grounded, creative, and able to show up fully, not just in life, but in business too. Because no matter how much we automate, systemize, or scale, it's still people who make everything move. And my team showed me just how much, because they went on like clockwork. We still had our daily stand-ups, and this webinar is running because the team kept going, even if I was away for a whole week. So that's what today's conversation is all about. The meaning of connection in a world that keeps asking us to move forward. So quick check-in. Who else in the audience, or who else joining us today, has a group or a ritual that helps you reset and reconnect? Mike, do you have one? Do you have a ritual that helps you reset and reconnect?
Absolutely. I like to be in nature. And so I live in central London, and it's about 5-minute walk to a gorgeous park called St. James Park. And so my ritual is to go in the park, walk around the lake, it's a gorgeous lake, and I listen to a podcast or just walk silently. And there's loads of ducks and squirrels and geese. And when they come around me, I feel like Mary Poppins, right? I've got all these animals around me, and that puts me at peace, because the moment, in the present. And so it helps me relax and be in the present and not be stressed about the future. And so for me, that's the best ritual there is, to go in nature.
Oh, I love that. And if anybody in the audience has one, please do share with us what your ritual is. And if you're overdue one, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So you just heard from Mike. Mike is our guest, and I couldn't think of anyone better to explore this topic with than with Mike Adams. He's the founder of IntroStars. Mike has spent over 30 years in tech with Apple, HP, and Zoom, helping people and companies grow through referral ecosystems instead of cold outreach. He built a platform around one simple idea: the right introduction can change everything. Mike, welcome to my kitchen.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. What a pleasure to be in your kitchen with you. I'm loving it.
Oh, brilliant. And that's what we're going to be doing today, making sure that we maximize this time with you. Because you just said you're joining us I'm from central London, but I can hear from your accent something a bit farther than central London.
Absolutely. I'm from all over the place. So it's going to be hard to place anywhere on the map. I've got my dad's American from Los Angeles. I grew up in Belgium speaking French. My mother's half German, and I've been living in London for 23 years in Soho. So really, I'm a Londoner first and foremost, but I travel the world about 50% of the time. I'm around the world. So actually tomorrow I'm going to New York for a week. I just came back from Taiwan. 2 weeks later, I'm in Belgium, then Argentina. So I'm traveling the world all the time. So if you have to say where am I from, I would say I'm from the world. I'm from planet Earth.
Oh, brilliant! I love it. So you can easily slot in anywhere, and you will be fine. And that's what connection is all about, right? Being able to connect with real people and being a human being in this world of human doings. So what is it that excites you about today's topic? And what's one connection that's, if you're traveling all over the world, you probably have more than one, but if you can stretch and maybe think about one connection that actually changed your life or business, would you be able to share that?
Absolutely. So what gets me excited every single day is connecting people, introducing people to each other. And so today's topic is about connection, about connecting people, bringing people together. And so my spiritual mission in life is to connect 1 million people in the world. And I truly believe that will make the world a better place by bringing people together instead of separating them, from extreme ideologies, bringing people together, connecting them, creating opportunities for them. And so I want to create a world where everyone becomes an introducer, everyone becomes a matchmaker, everyone becomes a super connector. And so everything I do in my day-to-day life is either connecting people or helping other people become connectors. For me, that is the ultimate, purpose-driven mission I've given myself. And I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun. I think every time you connect two people to each other, you create magic. You create a new opportunity which wasn't there before. It's like 1 + 1 = 3. So what's the best introduction I've ever had? I've had thousands of introductions. But one which really changed my life was a guy called Aaron Kirkvliet. He's a recruiter in London, a Dutch guy. And I was based in Belgium, in Brussels. And my dream was to move to London, to a big city with lots of energy and lots of people. And he literally reached out to me and introduced me to my first boss in London called Dale. And so he literally made that introduction for me. And thanks to that one introduction, I managed to move to London. This was 23 years ago. And completely changed my career around to become a Londoner. And since then, I've worked for 10 different companies. I've now launched my own company. I've helped loads of companies. But really, that one introduction changed everything. It put me on a different path in my entire life. And so that was the most meaningful introduction I've ever had. But yeah, I've had loads in the meantime, of course. And the great thing about introductions, you never know where it's going to lead. Someone introduces you to someone else, and that person introduces someone else, and then that leads to something magical, which you could not foresee initially, right? So it's always kind of a serendipitous experience, I think.
I love that. You never know where it's going to lead. And I think that leads us really well into our first discussion segment, which is we're going to be looking at connection before conversion. And in this segment, what I'd like to maybe talk a little bit about is your company that you've started as well, because it's also built around connection. So why do you think, Mike, that so many founders and businesses just jump straight into creating systems before building those little trust magic dust particles?
Yeah, really, the most important thing before you go out there and try to meet people and get some customers, et cetera, is to build your personal brand. So first, you need to build a strong personal brand about what you stand for. What are your values? What's your purpose? How do you help others? And you do that on social media by posting yourself on LinkedIn, describing how you help others. But it's also every time you go to a networking event, every time you meet someone, the way you introduce yourself is not so much what you do, but how you help others. And that's the best way to elevate your personal brand. And a good way to do that is to make introductions for other people by being an introducer, as a connector, that automatically elevates your personal brand. And once you start working on your personal brand, then the sky's the limit. Then you can go out there and meet people for business, meet people for coffee, make introductions, get introductions, go to networking events. You can do all that stuff. But really, you have to start with the personal brand first, because every time you meet someone, they're going to check your LinkedIn to see who you are. So if your LinkedIn doesn't reflect those values and how you help others, they're not going to continue that conversation. So really, it starts from a place of authenticity, of personal brand, of trying to be a helper, helping others, being a thought leader in your field, being an expert, sharing value and sharing advice. And then from there on, everything builds from there.
Oh, you know what? I would love to hear from everybody. I see we've got a few people joining us in the audience. Can you think of one opportunity that started from a simple introduction or recommendation? Just drop that in the chat. I'll come back and have a look at that. But for now, just think of one, just a little quick note on one thing that led to to an opportunity. Just like Mike said, he met Aaron, and then Aaron introduced him to Dale
White, yeah.
Dale.
My first boss.
Yeah.
And my whole life was changed around from that.
Yeah, and then 23 years later, he's still, in St. James's Park feeding the ducks. There you go.
Exactly. Yes, I'm Mary Poppins now.
Mary Poppins, yes. And in between that, he, on the side, does things like work for Apple and Zoom. There you yeah. So but I love it. So I remember when I first got started in business. Oh my God, it's like 6-7 years ago now. And there's this gentleman who was a little bit ahead. He'd been in business for a few more years, and he said, "Yvonne, your job as a CEO, never forget this, is to introduce people to each other. That's it. Just learn how to do that, and you will be okay." And it's true. As soon as you meet people and people say, "What do you do?" It's always like flip the question back, right? What do you do? And then, oh, I know somebody who does this. So I really love that. But also it's that, I don't know about this, Mike. Would you say it's that idea of paying it forward, like gratitude as well?
100%. And so think of it as your karma box, right? You put credits in your karma box every time you help someone. And so when I meet people at networking events, I always ask them a very simple question, which is, what introduction could I make for you? Right? That's a very simple question to ask everyone you meet. And everyone will appreciate that question because it means that they understand you're there to help them. You're not there to sell them something, to take advantage of them. You're there to help them. And everyone loves introductions. Now, everyone you meet needs introductions to customers, to investors, to business partners, to employees they might want to hire. So everyone's looking for good introductions. And so if you can bring that value to them, you're effectively putting money in your karma box, yes, but that also elevates your personal brand. And how do you measure your personal brand? That's what people say about you when you're not in the room, like your reputation, really. And that also elevates your social proof. Every time you make introductions, everyone around you validates that you're a great helper. And so all of these things are so important. And no matter what business you're in, what industry you're in, you still want to have a great reputation, a great personal brand, meaning make lots of introductions for other people. And everyone you meet, don't try to sell them anything. Try to help them by asking them what introduction you can make for them. And that's the best thing you can do, because by doing that, automatically people will want to return the favor, of course, and send you great introduction, obviously, right? It's kind of it's an obvious response to that. And so I think that's the best thing you can do.
Reach out and people will want to then do the same for you. I love that. I think that was the old adage of give before you ask, isn't it? Give and it will come back to you.
Yeah.
And would you say it takes kind of like building that belief system? It's having that belief system of abundance, where, it's okay, so that we're not like constantly thinking about taking. Is it a belief, or, where does it come from?
There needs to be a strong belief in positivity, abundance, and also in trust. But you trust other human beings to do the right thing and to be nice to you. If you're distrustful and you think everyone's there to screw you over and to take advantage of you, if that's your belief, that's what's going to happen to you. Everyone will screw you over and everyone will take advantage of you, right? If, on the other hand, if you believe that most people, not all, but most people want to help you, most people are nice, most people come from a place of positivity. If you believe that, and then of course your energy will convey that, people will sense that, and they will want to help you, right? And so your belief shapes your reality, 100%, 100%. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that people who are pessimistic will have loads of bad stuff happen to them, and people who are optimistic will have loads of good things happen to them, right? And so your belief shapes your reality.
Oh, wow, exactly. It's never just numbers, isn't it? It's people. It's seeing people really from that angle of, you believe that people will be enough to open a door. But then you're also coming from that place where you want to open doors for other people. And then you will then see that momentum kick in.
To be honest,
that's brilliant.
In human nature, to want to introduce people to each other, we actually enjoy that. It's fun. I think of it as solving a puzzle. You've got all these puzzle pieces in your brain, and you're always trying to assemble the puzzle pieces. It's kind of a game. And so I see that the way I explain it in my words is connecting the dots. When people tell you information in your brain, you're always trying to connect the dots, to connect 2 or 3 bits of information together. And so it's the same with people. People are dots, and you're connecting the dots, you're connecting people. And so I think it's in our human nature to connect dots and to connect people. I think we enjoy that. We have an inherent enjoyment of actually doing that. And so if we can do that at scale and connect lots of dots and connect lots of people, that will come back to you in a very positive way, where people will want to connect you to other people, right? And so I think it's a wonderful, generous circle of trust and introductions. Yeah.
Mike, do you think there's a number between this? Like, is there a way that people could compute? So, for example, your mission is, I love what you said as well. It's not just a mission, it's not my mission. You said my spiritual mission is to connect 1 million people. Is there a number? So, for example, if you connected 1 million people, does that then lead to you getting 1 billion worth of business?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't look at it in that terms, in terms of numbers, in terms of ROI. I just think that the more connections you make, the more opportunities you create for other people. And by creating opportunities for other people, that creates opportunities for you as well, right? It's kind of this virtuous circle. And so I don't put a number on it. The more the merrier. Just do it because you love it, and good things will happen. Now, obviously, in my business, there are some numbers. Yes, I have revenue. I've got targets. Of course, obviously, like any business. But in terms of connecting people, just do as many as you can. That's as good as it gets. Now, you can put a value on it. So, I put there's a difference between introducing people to each other. Let's say 2 startup founders, or a startup founder and a business person, because you think they'll get along and potentially enjoy talking to each other, and that's great. But then there's another type of introduction, which is a service provider looking for clients, and you introduce them to potential clients. So then that introduction could end up in a business deal with a specific dollar value or pound value, right? So imagine you introduce a service provider to a potential client. They could close a $50,000 deal, as an example. In that case, that's a different type of introduction. That's like a referral, a business referral, where you can get paid a referral commission on success, like a reward for making that introduction. And so you can actually earn a lot of money as an introducer. That can be a full-time job, can be a professional introducer, or it could be a side hustle, a side gig. So it's kind of really a new economy. The intro economy is literally an economy where millions of people can become introducers to help other people because they're very generous. They've got a big heart. They want to put money in their karma box, like we talked about, but they can actually earn real cash to pay their mortgage and pay their bills, right? So there's real money involved as well. So I think it's really that balance between helping others and being, focusing on your karma box, but also getting fairly rewarded and compensated for the effort you put in that introduction. And so there's loads and loads and loads of companies and people who are happy to pay you a referral commission on success, who are happy to pay you 10% of the deal or 20% of the deal or 5%, whatever it is. So you can earn so much money as an introducer. This can be a very lucrative opportunity for millions of people who can easily earn $15,000, $20,000 a month by just making 3, 4 introductions. So I think that is the job of the future. I think that's the massive opportunity for millions of people. And when AI is coming for all our jobs, the only job AI cannot replace is human relationships. Is trust. That is a human trait. An AI bot cannot be trusted or trustworthy, right? But a human can. So I think that's the ultimate side hustle, to be an introducer, and I'm very excited by that. I think that's an opportunity for the next generation, for millions of people to follow that path and start making introductions until it becomes fun and becomes a side hustle and start earning money from it. And so I created my startup IntroStars specifically for that, to help millions of people create abundance by becoming introducers. And so that's really the idea behind the product. And it's free to sign up. Anyone can sign up for free on IntroStars.com and start making 5-10 introductions and earning 20 grand a month, just like that. So I'm literally opening the floodgates of this whole intro economy for millions of people. I think it's very exciting. It's all about helping others. Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I think it is very exciting, and also the perfect pivot to our second segment, which is how you build trust systems. And I love that. I love the whole idea behind IntroStars and how you put it really well. The intro economy, right? Because it's something that 100%, like you just said. We do it naturally, right? We know somebody, we meet somebody says something familiar. Oh my God, I remember so-and-so said this, right? So you have made it a system. It's a trust system.
Yeah.
Why do systems matter? And why is it that AI cannot replace, that trust system? And then again, tell us how can people get started with IntroStars? And why is that an important part of your spiritual mission?
So I think AI is eroding trust. Everyone becomes distrustful of any message they receive. I get 20 emails per day and 20 LinkedIn messages per day from AI bots who send me like AI written messages, which are personalized, but clearly they're not, because you can tell right away it's written by AI. And that means that all these messages I receive, I just delete them right away. I don't even read them. And I'm sure it's the same for you. I mean, everyone on this call will have the same experience, of course. We all get bombarded by AI slop, trying to sell us something with an AI message. And because of that, we all become desensitized to any kind of message. We just delete all these messages right away because we just don't trust them. We do not trust all these AI messages because we know it's fake. It's written by some bots, right? And so we become very distrustful. Everyone basically our trust is zero for any message we receive. However, there is an exception to that. If a message comes from someone you know personally, one of your friends, someone you used to work with, someone you met at a networking event in person, then when you receive a message from that person, you will actually read it. You will open the message, you'll read it, because it comes from a trusted person. And that is the game changer. So the more we get bombarded by AI slop, the more we just dismiss any message received. We just don't read that anymore. We just assume it's AI slop and spam. However, the trusted relationship with people you know becomes 10 times more important, where those are the only messages you're going to read. So I think in the future, we're going to be in a world where we only read messages from people we trust. And so that's how we can change things around, by focusing all our efforts and energy on building that trust. And how do you do that? You go to in-person events, you meet people in person, shake their hands so you can build that relationship. And you build your personal brand and reputation by being a helpful person, by introducing people, helping people, giving them free content on social media or your personal website, etc. So building your personal brand and trust is the game changer, right? And that's how we can all become more human and in a world of AI bots, right? So that all ties to my personal mission, is to inspire millions of people with that message that, AI is not killing all humans. It's putting more onus on humans to become more trustworthy and focused on relationships, human relationships. So I think it's very exciting. I'm very excited by that. So that's what my mission is about. So to answer your question, how do you get started? Go to lots of networking events in person, meet as many people as you can. Always ask them how you can help them, what introductions you can make for them. And once you've built a small network of people, go to IntroStars.com, sign up for free. It's completely free. Sign up, see on the platform what people are looking for in terms of introductions, make 1 or 2 introductions on IntroStars, and then start earning money and helping people. I mean, it's a beautiful virtuous circle, right? And that's going to elevate your personal brand as well. So it's a win-win-win. Everyone's a winner.
We love that. We love win-win-win situations. But also, this idea that you are facilitating this intro economy and making it super simple as well. Just back to something that you've mentioned that I really liked, and this is the idea of these referral loops, where you meet somebody, they say something, makes you remember somebody that has that something. Yeah, so maybe you go to an event and somebody, I don't know, is talking about they're looking for an investor. I'm just going to think of the first thing that comes to mind, because founders generally will say that. And you remember a pitching event or an investor you've met, and you introduce them to that. How does that then benefit you? So you've made the introduction. So why would people want to have, how could this lead to a referral loop, for example?
So if you help someone with a referral, a good introduction, they'll remember you as a great introducer because you made their life better. You improved their business life, their personal life. So in their mind, they'll think of you as a great helper. And so when the moment comes that they meet someone they could introduce to you, they'll think, oh yeah, I need to introduce them to Yvonne because Yvonne is such an amazing person. She helped me achieve X or Y. And so it's really about creating your personal brand and your reputation as a great person. When you think about it, you only want to introduce people you like. If you don't like someone, you're not going to introduce them, right? You only introduce someone you like. So how do you become likable? How will people like you? If you help them with an introduction, they will like you. They say, oh my gosh, Yvonne is such a great person. She helped me with this. I need to return the favor. I owe her one. And so next time you meet someone, it's like, oh yeah, I should introduce him or her to Yvonne, right? And so really, that's the way to do it.
Totally agree with you on that one, Mike. One thing, though, a lot of people might say is this will take so much time going to events. Why not just pair it up with AI? Why not just, I don't know, go online and send lots of messages and let AI do it for you? Isn't that the whole point of having AI?
Yeah, as we just talked about, AI creates distrust and actually damages your personal brand. If you send a bunch of AI messages, use an AI tool to send like 5,000 messages to people you're trying to sell to, those 5,000 people will perceive you as a spammer, as an AI spammer. And that will damage your personal brand, will damage your reputation, and will have the inverse effect. And the response rates on these 5,000 messages will be very low. Like less than 1% of people will actually respond to your message. And most of them will probably just either dismiss it, delete it, or think, oh, I never want to speak to that person again because they're just an AI spammer. So that using AI tools to send loads of messages is the best way to damage your reputation and to damage your personal brand.
Okay, that's really good. So make sure that you are thinking about the personal brand when reaching out to people and building the reputation. So better to do small things consistently and then have a bigger impact than build this super complicated funnel that is impersonal.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so now to our third and final segment where we're going to look at connection and structure so that we can build sustainable growth. So at the very beginning, we looked at, hold on, I've lost it somewhere. Okay, so our first segment was looking at why it's important to look at people around building a connection, right? Not just as a conversion, not a number, but a real person, and looking at how can we connect with this real person where they are, and by doing that, then we build relationships. So we looked at the importance of having trust. We then looked at how can we systemize that process, and we looked at this idea of building a much more personalized referral loop. And by building a referral loop, then we can build our personal brand. And now we're going to look at the way we make sure that this process becomes a sustainable process. And, you know, I love some of what you've done before, Mike. You've worked with incredible teams.
Yeah.
What's the biggest mindset shift founders need to make if they want to have growth that actually lasts?
The biggest mindset shift is to stop spending all your time and effort thinking about AI automation. Instead of spending so much of your time trying to automate everything with AI, spend the same amount of energy and time to build relationships with real humans. And so that means going to in-person events, asking for referrals, building a referral program where you incentivize other people to send you introductions and referrals. Every time you go to an event or you meet someone, ask them what introduction you can make for them, but also ask them if they know a super connector in their network, someone who knows everyone. And if they could introduce you to a super connector, because that person can then open lots of doors for you. So I think spend much more of your energy on that kind of strategy, really referral programs, referrals, introductions, meeting super connectors, or using a platform like IntroStars, where we already have thousands and thousands of introducers on the platform from day one, and you instantly get access to all of them. That makes your life much easier, of course, because it's all there. So really, that's my advice for founders is focus less on AI cold outreach and focus more on warm referrals, warm introductions, in-person, trusted relationships, and make sure that's part of your strategy, right? So just cold outreach. I think really we need to focus much more of our efforts on that. And then the other advice I have is if you go to a networking event, don't try to sell anything. You're not at a networking event to try to sell your product or service. You're not there to meet customers. You're there to meet introducers. And so really think of everyone you meet at the networking event as a potential introducer, not as a potential customer. And that's a fundamental difference. It's not a small detail. That's a fundamental mindset shift. That you never, ever go to an event to try to sell anything. You're going there to build relationships, to build trust, to elevate your personal brand. And how do you do that? You help others. You ask them what introduction you can make for them. And once you build that relationship, then you say, by the way, I would love to get introductions to these types of customers. Do you know any? Can you help me with these types of introductions? Instead of trying to say, hey, can you buy my product? Do you want to buy my product? Yeah, you're never there to sell. You're there to meet other introducers and really help each other. And that's I think is a fundamental mindset shift. And that's great advice for startup founders, B2B salespeople, entrepreneurs, consultants, agencies, and all these types of people.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really good takeaway from that. Look at, meeting somebody and looking how we can add value to them. And rather than look to sell them something, offer them something. Yeah, so it could be, if you know somebody who's in their network, offer to introduce them to the person within the network, or sometimes it's even just a piece of some advice or something that you've heard somewhere because they've said something that they're struggling with. So come from that place where
don't try to sell anything. You're not at a networking event to try to sell your product or service. You're not there to meet customers. You're there to meet introducers. And so really think of everyone you meet at the networking event as a potential introducer, not as a potential customer. And that's a fundamental difference. It's not a small detail. That's a fundamental mindset shift, that you never, ever go to an event to try to sell anything. You're going there to build relationships, to build trust, to elevate your personal brand. And how do you do that? You help others. You ask them what introduction you can make for them. And once you build that relationship, then you say, by the way, I would love to get introductions to these types of customers. Do you know any? Can you help me with these types of introductions? Instead of trying to say, hey, can you buy my product? Do you want to buy my product? You're never there to sell. You're there to meet other introducers and really help each other. And that's I think is a fundamental mindset shift, and that's great advice for startup founders, B2B salespeople, entrepreneurs, consultants, agencies, and all these types of people.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really good takeaway from that. Look at meeting somebody and looking how we can add value to them, and rather than look to sell them something, offer them something. Yeah, so it could be, if you know somebody who's in the network, offer to introduce them to the person within the network, or sometimes it's even just a piece of some advice or something that you've heard somewhere because they've said something that they're struggling with. So come from that place where we are giving, and it will build, like Mike just said, it will build loyalty, it will build trust. And it's also the energy at which we will meet people. So the way to build a sustainable referral system is be consistent. So if it's going to an event, like Mike just said, make it a consistent event that you go to so that people there recognize you.
It's also about building a system. So having like an official referral program where you have a specific structure, like what percentage you pay as a referral reward on success, having a tracking mechanism to track all the referrals and introductions you get, making sure it's officially published. So anyone who wants to become an introducer, they can just sign up and become an official introducer and sign up to your referral program. So make it like a proper program, like make it official. There's terms and conditions, there's a referral agreement, there's a tracking mechanism. And to do all of that, you could do it all yourself. Of course you could. It takes a lot of time and effort. Or you can sign up to IntroStars and do it in 3 clicks, and it's all done for you, right? The tracking mechanism, the legal terms and conditions, all the super connectors, the sign-up page, it's all there. 1 click, boom, super easy. So we really want to make it easy for any user or company to set up the referral program in 3 minutes instead of hours and hours, right? So again, we want to make it easy, transparent, scalable, et cetera, et cetera.
I love that. And one of the things we're doing is we are going to actually be working with Mike. So I would recommend that you look at IntroStars as well. We have our linkers program, and we will be very, very keen to work with Mike, to help our linkers to be able to introduce others to Locrise Match. So to wrap up, we would now like to move to our 3 takeaways because so much value has been shared. And of course, there's also your one big change that will be challenging you with. So I want to leave you with these 3 things that really stood out for me today. So the first thing is connection isn't soft. Connection is actually a strategy. And, the energy that you put out there, that introduction, that message, that thank you is an invisible asset that will compound over time. And then the second one was systems do not replace trust. They actually protect it. So there is a way in which, of course, you can work with tools that will make things a lot quicker for you. But at the end of the day, just remember that it's that person-to-person connection where you build structure around how you're connecting, and then you give those relationships space to grow without being forgotten. So, if you meet somebody, say hi to them, make them part of your network on LinkedIn, and then share content regularly so that you are actually there with them. And then the third takeaway is growth doesn't come from doing more. It actually comes from doing what matters more consistently. So find a platform or a way in which you can find the right people, create the right rhythm around that, and then have the right reasons for doing it. And that's my favorite part. That's where we're going to be challenging you to choose one of these three things and make it part of your one big change. We usually have our one big change moment at Lockrise, which we post in everything, whether it's our post, just one thing, one piece of action that you can take away from today and start doing it. That single small shift that you will make will help you grow and connect differently this quarter. So it doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's just reconnecting with an old contact. Maybe it's scheduling 10 minutes on Fridays to send gratitude messages to people you've met that week. Or maybe it's as simple as simplifying one process that's been getting in the way of real human connection. Or it could even be going to IntroStars and registering and getting those connections going. So take 30 seconds and think about it. Type it in the chat. What's your one big change? What is it that you will be starting that will create that momentum for small intentional steps that build a bigger circle of trust? Great. So let's move to our next section. Mike, we really love this. At Lockrise, this is where we get to know you. You as Mike. Who is Mike? And it's always before we close. So we end up with a quick star in our pot in the kitchen. We want to know the human being behind all the business. No overthinking. There's only one rule, and you need to say the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you the question. So, first question, tea or coffee?
Both, but mostly coffee, black coffee, no sugar, no milk, very black. But I do like green tea as well. So it's green coffee and green tea, no sugar, no milk, all pure caffeine. Nice and bitter.
Good, quick hit. I was going to ask you, the second question is, how do you take it? You've answered that. No sugar, no milk.
Just now I had a cortado, a bit of milk in there, but usually it's more black. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, the next one, if you're ready, a daily ritual that keeps you grounded and meets all the tech noise. I think you told us one. It cannot be.
I go to the park all the time. Not every day, but nearly every day. I try to walk 15,000 steps a day. So that's a daily ritual. Wow. 15,000 steps a day, because walking, first of all, is good exercise, fresh air, being outside. And then, after you feel a small sense of achievements, you've done 15K today. That's good. So that would be a daily ritual. Yeah.
Oh my God. How do you put in 15K? Is that an hour?
I like to walk. I live in central London. I walk everywhere. I just like to walk.
Oh, I love it. 15K. Wow. I'm feeling empowered. Challenged. I love it. So we know that you came to London, and your first boss, Theo, 23 years ago, started it all for you, right? Your dream was to live in a big city.
Yeah.
But then our next one is a little bit connected to that one. So now you cannot talk about this one. You'd have to look for another one. So what's another connection that changed, maybe not everything, but a lot of everything for you?
I mean, to be honest, there's been so many. I've been going to lots and lots of networking events over the last couple of years. Like 10 years ago, I was a professional networker. I went to 1,000 networking events in London. And so I met so many people, but I met a few people, changed my life. One guy was called Pat Week, and he was a professional networker. So his business card literally said networker. That's his job title. And that changed my life because he made me understand there's a whole secret society of super networkers, of literally a mafia of networkers. And all these people, all they do every day is go to networking events, and then they meet each other to exchange referrals and introductions. And I never knew this existed. For me, that was a secret society. I never heard about this. And so I got inserted in that trusted circle, and I started making and receiving loads of high-value introductions and built $7 million of pipeline just doing that, just networking with these super connectors and super networkers. And so for me, that was a game changer. Yeah. Because Pat introduced me to all the other super networkers. Yeah.
I want to know where I can be part of this mafia, Mike. We're talking after this call.
You're all on IntroStars. On IntroStars, you're all on there.
No, I want your super networking one. Your personal one. That's a mafia. I want that one. Okay. Okay. The next one. What's one piece of tech that you think still brings people closer and not further apart?
Obviously, IntroStars is the ultimate tech to bring people together. It's all about introductions. So it's really connecting people on a day-to-day basis. So that piece of tech is definitely there, which I've built specifically for that, for my spiritual mission to bring people together. But on a basic level, just LinkedIn. Even though everyone likes to bitch about LinkedIn, it's all AI spam, etc. There's still a lot of real people on LinkedIn. I still use it to talk to real people. I still follow up on people on LinkedIn. So I still like to use LinkedIn as my way to meet people, catch up with people, follow up on their career changes. So again, but that's probably me. I know lots of people hate LinkedIn and say it's all fake. And I hear this all the time. Me personally, I still love it. I still use it every day. I still love it. Each to their own, that's what I use.
Yeah, well, you said it before. It's the energy, isn't it? It's the energy you bring to these things. I love that. So next one, a quote or mantra that sums up your approach to maybe leadership or life.
It's always, how can I connect the dots? Right? For me, that's the number one thing in my life, every single day of my life, is how can I connect different bits of information together to create something new? I truly believe that life is a remix in the sense that everything already exists. We can't invent anything new. However, by combining two existing things, you create something new. So creation is not from scratch. Creation is always taking existing things and assembling them in a new way. And so when you introduce two people to each other, that's the same thing. Those two people already exist. You didn't invent them, they're there. But by connecting them together, you create something magical which wasn't there before. And it's the same for people or information. You read two separate books which are unrelated, and you assemble these two books as a new idea by combining those two information, and you can then write your own book, right? About what you just learned from those two separate books. And so for me, that applies to everything in life. So my mantra is connect the dots. That's what it is.
I love that. Connect the dots. Something people would be surprised to learn about you?
I'm a travel hacker, so I'm doing 43 flights this year, and I do it only in business and first class, all for free. So I found loads of loopholes with credit cards to get millions of points and airline miles for free, and then spend those miles to travel all over the world in business and first for free. And so I'm part of a secret society of travel hackers, a lot of travel hackers around the world. And so that's one thing, I'm happy to talk about one-to-one with anyone who wants to reach out to me. And then the second thing people might not know about me, I spent 3 hours with Michael Jackson 20 years ago in his hotel room in Amsterdam for a business meeting. So that was incredible. Me and Michael Jackson in his hotel room in Amsterdam with his manager and my parents. And that was a 3-hour meeting, and that was incredible. Yeah.
Did he teach you any dance moves?
He did not. But he was a very interesting character for sure.
But that was okay. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, this is brilliant. Okay. I you know what? We are mafia hacking after this. Way too many secret mafia groups. Okay. If this season of your journey, this is the last one, I promise. If this season of your journey had a theme song, and I think it's pivoting really well from what you just said, and the person you just met. And so, if this season of your journey had a theme song, what would that be?
It would be "I Got a Feeling" from the Black Eyed Peas. I got a feeling. So that's a very optimistic song. The great things are going to happen to you, and if you stay optimistic, you got a feeling something good's going to happen. And so. I think that's a great song. Yeah, I Got a Feeling from Black Eyed Peas.
Oh wow, Mike, I love that. I agree with you. Beautiful song. That's always reminds me of how I actually got into business as well. I remember I used to go for this event. I don't know if you search him up. It's called Vincent Wong. So they were in Milton Keynes with I can't remember. He had a business partner, but they always played this song at the beginning of the event. I gotta feel it. So yeah, no, I agree with you. That's a beautiful song. I love that. Thank you, Mike. It's always my favorite part because it reminds us that behind every platform, every innovation, there's still a person, somebody just trying to make a connection, to make connections a little easier for the rest of us. And Mike, if there's anybody that is really clearly, their spiritual mission is to bring people together, it is you. You have shown us that through and throughout this conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and for reminding us that systems can scale, but it's connections that sustain us.
Yeah.
So if anybody has missed part of today's session, we'll send you the replay link shortly. And I'd love for you to actually do your one big change this week. Then tell us, how did it go? Because I would love to know how this very, very important topic today has impacted your life. Next Thursday, same time, same kitchen, we'll be diving into our next topic. We will be talking systems. Again, it is actually flowing through our November theme. And if you see some of my socials, just around systems. So I'm so glad that now we know systems are not something that is woven, like spreadsheets. It's actually a real human connection. Thank you, Mike. Where can people find out more about what you're doing, your journey, your project as well? Where do we need to go so that we get more information?
Yeah, so I really spend most of my time on LinkedIn. So follow me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn handle is SuperMike. So it's very easy, linkedin.com/in/SuperMike. So there you can follow all my adventures. That's where I post everything I'm working on. And then, of course, go to IntroStars.com to sign up for free, become an introducer, make introductions, elevate your personal brand, and help other people make the world a better place, and get paid loads of referral commissions as well. So it's a win-win-win. Everyone's a winner. And let's build an amazing community of super connectors around the world. I'm very excited.
Fantastic. Let's do that indeed. Okay, so until we have all come together and build our big super connections together, Mike, and I'm sure when we go to IntroStars, you'll also be guiding us on how we do that. What I would encourage everybody to do is, from just one of the takeaways of today, start thinking the next time you meet somebody, how can I pour into them? Because by doing that, something will definitely come back to me. And until we meet next week, stay connected, stay human. And remember, it's not just about doing more. It's actually about connecting better. Have a lovely day, and bye for now.
Thanks so much, Yvonne.